নিত্য সিদ্ধ কৃষ্ণ ভক্তি সাধ্য কভু নয় শ্রবণাদি শুদ্ধ চিত্তে করে উদয়. The Krishna consciousness is a fact in everyone's heart. It is already there. Otherwise, how these Europeans and Americans, they're taking to Krishna consciousness very seriously. So it is to be understood that Krishna consciousness was there already. By the process of hearing, Sravanadi Shuddha Chit, process of hearing, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recommended, Cheta Darpana Marjanam Parang Vijayade Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Sri Krishna Sankirtanam is so auspicious that the chanting of this mantra awakens the dormant Krishna consciousness. Cheta Darpana Marjana. The more you hear Hare Krishna mantra, the more your heart becomes clean. These are the statements given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There cannot be any defect. My statement may be defective, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's statement cannot be defective because he is in the transcendental platform. He is transcendence himself. Krishna Chaitanya Namine. Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine. He is Krishna himself, but he has appeared in the form of Krishna Chaitanya. Therefore, whatever he says, that is fact. Cheta Darpana Marjanam. The more we hear the vibration, the transcendental vibration, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, without any offense, even with mixed with offense. There are three stages of chanting this vibration: offensive chanting and almost offenseless chanting and offenseless chanting. Offensive chanting may give you material pains and pleasure, and almost offenseless will give you liberation, will place you in the transcendental platform. And when it is offenseless, then immediately you will invoke love of God, Krishna Prem. So, even in offensive state, if we go on chanting and try to become safe from offensive condition, Dasabhida Nama, 10 kinds of offenses, if we avoid, that is the process of auspicity. But even we are not in the platform of offenseless chanting, still we must go on chanting. It will gradually make our heart clean and we will be offenseless. Cheta Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nidbhapana. So, the Krishna consciousness, awakening of Krishna consciousness is required. That is called Cheta Darpana Marjana. So, here Rupa Goswami says, auspicity means that which spreads for everyone in all parts of the world. There is auspicity, not partial. In politics or sociology or humanitarian activities, there is partiality for a certain section of human being or certain section of living being. But this chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, awakening dormant Krishna consciousness, is meant for all living entities. Even birds, beasts, insects, they can also awaken. This is the recommendation of Haridas Thakur, that if we chant loudly, the trees will hear, the birds will hear, the insect will hear, and they will be liberated. That is the statement of Namacharya Haridas Thakur. Therefore, chanting of Hare Krishna mantra and awakening dormant Krishna consciousness is the auspicious activities, welfare activities for every living entity all over the world. Read.
At the present moment, groups of people are engaged in welfare activities in terms of society, community, or nation. There is even an attempt in the form of the United Nations for World Health Activity. But due to the shortcomings of limited national activities, such a general mass welfare program for the whole world is not practically possible. The Krishna conscious movement, however, is so nice that it can render the highest benefit to the entire human race. Everyone can be attracted by this movement, and everyone can feel the result.
Now, the human welfare activities are now developed in the form of United Nations. They are tackling various subjects matter, but still it is not possible. They are trying for the last 20 years, but still even the nations have not become united. What to speak of other welfare activities? It is just a comparison, a little comparison, but this Krishna consciousness movement was started practically from 1967. I went there in 1965, and for 1 year I could not do anything. In 1966, this movement was registered in New York, and from 1966 it is spreading. So within 4 or 5 years it has spread all over the world. We have got branches in every part of the globe, and at least people know there is a movement, Krishna consciousness, and we are welcome everywhere as Krishna conscious people, Hare Krishna people. Our name is Hare Krishna people. So, people may take note of it that within a short period it has spread so widely. In comparison to United Nations, what we are, we have no money, we have no means, we have no influence, we have no government support, nothing of the sort. But still, it is spreading. So, jad jad acharati shrestha lokastad anuvartate tattadeva itare jana. According to this formula, if the leaders of the society takes this movement little seriously, they should take, because this is the only movement which can bring in peace and prosperity and happiness to the whole human society. That is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhoktaram Jagatavasam Sarvaloko Maheswaram Sridam Sarvabhutanam Gyattam Mam Shantimichyam. People are after Shanti. This is the formula of Shanti. We have to accept Krishna as the supreme enjoyer. Not we are enjoyer. At the present moment, all our activities are going on self-centered. I am enjoyer. I am leader. I am bhokta. No, this is wrong. Krishna is bhokta. Krishna is leader. Krishna is the friend. Krishna is the proprietor. That is Krishna consciousness. This news, this idea should be spread all over the world. Then automatically, very easily, all the nations will be united. Because Krishna consciousness acceptance means Chetadarpana margana. The difficulty is the members in the United Nations, they assemble together, but their heart is not clean. They meet together with unclean heart. Therefore, there is no solution. Whereas Krishna consciousness means those who are meeting on the platform of Krishna consciousness, they are meeting in cleansed heart. That is the difference. Chetadarpana marjana. Therefore, that unity is very solid and sound. And with unclean heart, if we meet officially, there is no possibility of unity. United Nations, it may be in the name, but in fact, it cannot be established. One.
Therefore, Rupa Goswami and other learned scholars agree that a broad propaganda program for the Krishna consciousness movement of devotional service all over the world is the highest humanitarian welfare activity.
Rupa Goswami has recommended Jena Tena Prakarena Mana Krishna Nishevat Sarve Vidhi Nisheda Shu Etayo Revo Kinkara. His mission is somehow or other try to engage people in Krishna consciousness. They may think of Krishna somewhere or other. Then regulate them after that. Actually, this Krishna consciousness movement has attained little success on this principle. When we began this movement, we never asked people that you have to do this, you have to do that. No. Please come and hear Hare Krishna mantra. This was our policy. Never mind what you are. You may be Christian, you may be Jews, you may be Mohammedan or Hindu, Muslim, whatever you may be, it doesn't matter. Please come and join with us the Hare Krishna chanting. Actually, that has become successful. In the Tompkinson Square, I was sitting underneath the tree and chanting this Hare Krishna mantra alone, and these young men, they used to assemble, dance also in the tune, for 3 hours, from 2 to 5. In this way, we got our followers, associates, and gradually developed into organization. So in the beginning, we did not impose so many rules and regulations. There is no rules and regulation. First thing required, Chetadarpana marjana. Unless one heart is cleansed, he cannot accept rules and regulations. That is not possible. Chorana sone dharmer kahini. If a man is thief, and if you give him moral instruction that stealing is very sinful, do not do it, he would not care for it. A butcher, if you advise him that animal killing is very bad, it is sinful, he will not accept it. That is not possible. His heart should be clean. Prayashchitta vimarsana. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, the, the process of prayaschitta, atonement, is discussed, and Sukadeva Goswami has recommended that this process of prayaschitta, ritualistic ceremony, after committing some sinful activities, to counteract it, there are, in every shastra, there is some counteracting formulas. The people generally follow that. In Christian religion also, there is confession, atonement. A sinful man goes to the church and confesses. Similarly, in every religion, there is such atonement process, but Parikshit Maharaj refused to accept this atonement process. He protested that a man commits sinful activities and executes some atonement process, again he commits the same thing. Then what is the use of this atonement? So Sukadeva Goswami understood it because he was a serious student, and Sukadeva Goswami was also a serious teacher. So he then said, no, atonement process cannot rectify one. Only prayaschitta vimarsanam. One must be thoughtful, one must be in knowledge. Then he can give up sinful activities. So he recommended the process of knowledge. Tapasa brahmacharjena, tyagena, jamena, niyamena. These are the processes. So, in this age, especially Kali Yuga, even we cannot perform this tapasya, brahmacharya, tyaga, jama, sama, dama. It is not possible. It is possible not for everyone. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given a shortcut formula. This Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama iva kevalam, kalo nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatirannata. And that is being effective practically. We see all over the world. Because it is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's blessings, yaha hoite sarva siddhi haibetam. Holi kale naam bina goti nahi ya. So, that is recommended by Sukadeva Goswami also. Kalo dosha nidhi rajan asti jiko mahan guna kirtanadeva krishnasya mukta sangha parang brajet. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one becomes liberated from the resultant action of sinful life, and at length he is promoted. Parang brajet. Taktadehang punarjanmanaiti mami. This is the process. So, this Krishna consciousness movement, Hare Krishna movement, should be spread, and that is actually auspicity for all people all over the world. Go on.
How the Krishna consciousness movement can attract the attention of the whole world, and how each and every man can feel the pleasure in this Krishna consciousness, is stated in the Padma Purana as follows. A person who is engaged in devotional service in full Krishna consciousness is to be understood to be doing the best service to the whole world and to be pleasing everyone in the world.
Here, this is statement in the Padma Purana and many other Puranas, Vedic literature. The same thing is confirmed, but simply by taking shelter of Mukunda, one can be free from all types of obligation. Devarsi bhutaptaninang pitrinang. There are so many obligations. We are obligation to perform, to satisfy the demigod, the great sages, general human society. Pitrinam, the Pitris, forefathers, so many obligations. But one who takes shelter of Mukunda, he has no more obligation. Nayang rini na kinkara, Raj. Simply, by just like watering the root of the tree, you can satisfy the trunks, the branches, the twigs, the leaves, the flowers, everything. Similarly, sarvahanam achyuteja. Simply by executing devotional service, you can execute all other obligation without any deviation. Go on.
In addition to human society, he is pleasing even the trees and animals because they also become attracted by such a movement. A practical example of this was shown by Lord Chaitanya when he was traveling through the forest of Jharkhand in central India for spreading his Sankirtan movement. The tigers, the elephants, the deer, and all other wild animals joined him and were participating, in their own ways, by dancing and chanting Hare Krishna.
Yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu practically exhibited that Harinam Sankirtan, Krishna Kirtan can attract even animals, tigers, elephants. They also join with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Of course, his power, our power is not the same, but there is potency. The potency, as we become powerful gradually by chanting Hare Krishna mantra, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has shown that one can come to the stage of enchanting the forest animals also. Gone.
Furthermore, a person engaged in Krishna consciousness, acting in devotional service, can develop all the good qualities that are generally found in the demigods.
This kind of objection are always made by the atheist class of men. Even Jesus Christ was crucified. So this is the material world. You will find always such nuisance class of men.
It must cost you a lot of money to go travelling around the world all the time.
Yes, we have got about 102 branches all over the world.
Where do you get the money?
Get money from God. We especially get money by selling our books. You have seen our books.
If you can't chant...
We are selling, according to Indian exchange, we are selling about 25 to 30,000 rupees worth books daily.
Please therefore be blessed, being blessed with many years. Explain to us what you ascertain to be the absolute and ultimate good for the people in general.
This is the most important. First of all, Sutta Goswami was selected because he received the knowledge from Vyasdev and other sages very perfectly on account of his becoming submissive and serious. This is the first qualification. Now they are asking what you have thought the best way of achievement, the highest goal of life. Anjasa. Just make it easy. In the next verse it will be explained why easy things are required in this age. Very difficult execution of spiritual life, austerities, penance, that is not possible. People are so fallen that they cannot accept any severe type of austerity. It is not possible. Therefore, the yoga system is not at all possible in this age. As we have several times discussed, it is very difficult Jam, Niyam. The very beginning is Jam, Niyam. Controlling. Everything controlling. Not to be licentious. Everything control. Yoga life begins, yoga indriya sangam. The real purpose of practicing yoga is controlling the sense. Our senses are so strong, we have discussed many times, that even the greatest learned man falls victim to sense enjoyment. Even the greatest learned man. In the Shastra, therefore, it is ordered, matra sasra duhitrava na viviktyaasane vase balaman indiyagrama vidyangsapi karshati. Matra means mother, with mother. Shastra with sister. Duhitra with daughter. Na viviktasane vase. Never sit down in a lonely place, even with your mother, even with your sister, or even with your daughter. Balavan Indiyagrama. The Indiyagrama, all the senses, especially the sex, is so strong that vidyangsapi karsati, even one is very learned, very well educated, still he is attracted. Therefore, and this is the basic principle of our conditioned life, the sex. We are in this material world. Material world means to get this material body, and material body means subjected to the tribulations of material nature. This is called conditioned life. As soon as you get a material body, you have to undergo the pains and pleasures of this. No pleasure, all pains, you have to undergo. This is subjected. Matra sparsha. As soon as you get a material body, immediately according to the seasonal changes, just like in London city, sometimes you are feeling cold, sometimes you are feeling very warm. As the season changes, so the material nature will go on changing, and because your material body is susceptible to all the influence of such changes, you will feel pains and pleasure. No pleasure, always pain. The same warmth is pleasure at some time, and the same warmth is pain at the same time. In summer season, warmth is not very pleasing, but in the winter season, the same warmth is pleasing. So warmth is pleasing or painful according to the seasonal changes. Krishna advised to Arjuna that don't be subjected to the seasonal changes. Agama paina anitya. They come and go. Don't be very serious about that. Whenever there is some reverse condition of life, don't be disturbed, because they will come and go. So our real business is Krishna consciousness. So that how this Krishna consciousness can be developed by the easiest method. Tatra tatra anjasa ayusman bhavata jad vinishchitam. Now, this question is asked from a person who is self-realized, not from a shopkeeper. Tad vijnanartham gurumeva abhigacche. Here is a guru because he has learned sufficiently from Vyasdeva and other sages. Therefore they are asking from him, not from him. Ayusman, they are blessing. Be blessed with long span of life. Although he was young, still they're asking, great learned Brahmin and sages, what you have decided to be the easiest process to achieve the highest goal of life. Pungsam ekantata shreyas. Ekantata, absolute. Shreyas. Shreyas means benefit. There are two kinds of benefit. One is called prayas and one is called shreyas. Prayas means immediately very pleasing. Immediately. The sense satisfaction, very pleasing immediately. But shreyas means ultimate goal. Ultimately, just like a child, for him, prayas means he wants to play. He doesn't want to go to school. But his shreyas is that he must go to school, must be educated, so that his future life may be secure. That is called shreyas. So our life, this human form of life, should be used for shreyas. It is said, Pungsam ekantata shreyas. We should not be attracted by the prayers. But modern education is so nasty that they encourage prayers, especially not in this country, everywhere, that boys and girls are not checked, rather encouraged in the matter of immature sex life. Prayers, they want it, all right, do it, take tablets and enjoy. This is dangerous. For this reason, the generation are becoming degraded, because they are not aiming at the shreyas, they are simply aiming at the prayers, immediate pleasing thing. They do not know that immature sex life spoils the brain, spoils strength, everything is spoiled. In student life, brahmachari system is very nice. If he keeps brahmachari without any sex life, then his brain becomes very fertile. He can remember, memory becomes very sharp, bodily strength becomes very solid. In this way, his life becomes very solid for future shreyas. But that is not being taught at the present moment. But here the rishis, the great sages, they are asking, Pungsam ekantata shreyas. Sanna samsitam harasi. Kindly describe what we should accept. This is called inquiry. Everyone should be inquisitive for the ultimate benefit of life. What is that ultimate benefit of life? The ultimate benefit of life is to stop this repetition of birth and death, old age and disease. That is ultimate. But they do not know. Then?
In the Bhagavad Gita, worship of the Acharya is recommended. The Acharyas and the Goswamis are always well-wishers for the general public.
Yes. The Acharya and Goswami, their business is just like our Acharyas, Sara Goswami. They left their service, big service, ministership, and by the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they went to Vrindavan. But what for? Going to Vrindavan and sleeping and eating? No, not for that. They, rather at home, they had time to sleep more. But when they went to Vrindavan, they were sleeping only 1/2 hour to 2 hours only. At the present moment, when a man becomes old, he requires more rest. But according to Vedic civilization, No, no rest, more work. More work. These Goswamis, they were deputed by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. At that time, this Vrindavan, which I have seen, now it is a nice city, but during the time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it was a big field only, that's all. Nothing was there. Everything, all Krishna's Leela, was vanished. Not vanished, it was not visible. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw one small hole, little water, and he indicated this is Radha Kunda. Then Radha Kunda was discovered. So these Goswamis, they were working very hard. And a special business was there. Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipuno. They are very expert in scrutinizingly studying all the Vedic literature. Nana Shastra, not ordinary novel. They are also reading Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipuno, just like Rupa Goswami has quoted so many verses, so many incidents from different Shastras. How the bibliography is stated there, and compiling Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which I have translated Nectar of Devotion. So this Nectar of Devotion, because formally whatever is given under Vedic evidence, people will accept. Oh, it is correct. Therefore, Nana Shastra Vicharanaika, they used to collect all the Vedic references and put into the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu to establish that Bhagavad Bhakti, devotional service to the Lord, is the ultimate goal of life. Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipuno Sadharma Sansthapuko. Sadharma, not Asadharma. Asadharma means referring to the body. Karmakanda, Kurmis, they are engaged in asadharma, not sadharma. Because the body is asat. Antavaktu ime deha nitya sokta sharirina. Ime deha. This body is antavat. It is to be perishable. Therefore asat. Asatomang sadgama. The Vedic injunction is, don't be addicted to this asat in these bodily comforts of life. Sadgama. Try to revive your eternal life. These are the Vedic injunctions. So therefore, Bhagavad says, Darshan buddhi kunapeti dhaduke saiva gokhara. Anyone who is accepting this body as self, he is no better than animal. Gokhara. Go means cow and khara means ass. So the whole Vedic literature is like that. How to get the spirit soul who is now entangled or encased in this material body. That is Sadharma, that is Sanatana. Sat means Sanatana, which exists. Sanatana means eternal. What is Sat? That is eternal. What is Asat? That is temporary. So these Goswamis, they engage themselves in studying all the different Vedic literatures. Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipuno. They are very expert, scrutinizing, studying, and it was putting in his Bhakti Rasamrita and so many other books also. Why? Sadharma, Samasthapu. Sadharma means a spiritual life, not this material. Just like these modern material scientists, they are discovering so many things simply for the comforts of this body, not for any spiritual advancement. Therefore, asat. Narottam Das Thakur says, Satasanga chari koinu asate bilas. I have given up satsanga, association, wherein I can learn about spiritual advancement of life. Asat Vilas, I am engaged, enjoying this asat, this body means the senses. Satasanga chhari koinu asate vilas. Te karane lagilo mor karma bando fas. I have become entangled in the action and reaction of fruitive activities. That is the lamentable condition of present civilization. People are becoming entangled. One does not know that so long the mind will be absorbed in this karma. Karma means bodily activities. I will have to accept another body. And there is risk. I do not know whether I shall be able to accept a body, human body. There are 8,400,000, any body I have to accept as it is given by nature. Prakriti kriyamana, ni gunai karmana. I am associating in different qualities, and Prakriti is recording, or automatically it is being recorded what type of body you will have next life. Prakriti kriyamana, ni gunai karmani sarvas. Ahankara vimuratma karta ham iti mannate. Karanam guna sanga sa sadasat janma jonishu. Why one is born in a high family, rich family, why other is poor family, or one is born in lower animals, one is born in as demigod. What is that reason? Karanam. The reason is Karanam gunasangayasya. He has associated with a particular type of the material qualities. Therefore, he has to accept a particular type of body. Karanam gunasangayasya. Therefore, we are instructing our students associate with the good qualities. Good qualities. The best quality of association is devotion and service, the devotees, because they are transcendental, above goodness. Above goodness. Just like you are living in this temple, this is above goodness. According to Vedic, if you live in the forest, that is goodness, association with goodness, because there is no material contamination. Simple life in the forest, or not in the village, in the forest. Therefore, formerly all the sages and saintly persons, they used to live in the forest. That is goodness. And if you live in the city, that is association with passion. And in the city, if you live in the brothel, in the liquor shop, gambling, that is association with ignorance. Three kinds. But if you live in the temple, that is transcendent, that is Vaikuntha. So in this way, we have to detach ourselves from the association of the three gunas. Krishna advised Arjuna, Trigunna Vishaya Veda, Nistagunna Bhavarjuna. My dear Arjuna, just become transcendental to the three gunas. Sagunan samatittaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Who can transcend these three gunas? We have to go above goodness. Here in this material world, goodness is supposed to be very nice quality. But here the goodness also nice temporary. There is chance of being affected or infected with the other quality. Sataraja Tamaguణ. So we can, at least we have to transcend this Rajastamaguణ. Tada Rajastama bhava, Kamalobha dayascha je. Rajastama, the quality of passion and ignorance. These, the symptoms of these qualities is kama and lobha, lust and greediness. So long there is lust and greediness, lust for sex, lust for opposite sex, this is called lust, and greediness to eat more than we can digest. So while these two things are there, lust and greediness, that means we are now being conducted by the ignorance and passion. And when there is prominence of goodness, then we can understand what is what is God, what I am, what is this world. There is knowledge. And above this, transcendental, simple, not only knowledge, but practical application of knowledge in life. That is called Shuddha Sattva. Practical application. That is Shuddha Sattva. So here the question is that Pungsam ekantata shreyas tanna sangsitam manas. Now we are very much eager to hear from you, to listen from you. Kindly let us know what is the easiest method to achieve the highest goal of life. This is the question.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Nadhayo Vyadhaya Klesha. Nadhayo Vyadhaya Klesha. Daiva Bhutatma Hetava. Daiva Bhutatma Hetava. Ajata Shatra Bhavavan. Ajata Shatra Bhavavan. Jantunam Ragnikar Hichit. Jantunam Ragnikar Hichit.
Translation. Due to the kings having no enemy, the living beings were not at any time disturbed by mental agonies, diseases, or excessive heat or cold.
So, in the previous verse, it has been described that nature was favorable. The river, the hills, the mountains, forest, vegetable, creepers, these are our natural surroundings. Animals, everyone was complete. It is a cooperation. So many living entities, according to karma, we have got different bodies. Some has got the human form of body, some has got the body of an animal, some has got the body of a tree, creeper, sometimes hills, mountains also. Everyone, their business is cooperation. We can study from our own body. There are different parts of the body, but it is a business of cooperation. Hand, legs, eyes, ears, nose, they are all cooperating for the upkeep of the body. Similarly, all living entities may be in different types of bodies. They are meant for cooperating in the matter of serving the Supreme Lord. So, if the government or the chief of the executive power, the king, is just to the point, dharmena, as it was said, abiding by the religious principles ruling over the country, everything, even natural elements, they become cooperative. They must become cooperative. What is nature? Nature is also another energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, the nature is also working under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mayadhakshena prakriti shriyate sa characharam hetu nanena kaunteya jagadvi parivartate. So Maharaj Yudhishthir's time, the cooperation was so complete that everyone was free from anxiety, disease, calamities, natural disturbance. In this material nature or material world, we have got three kinds of sufferings. Tritab jantra. Sanatana Goswami inquired, why these three kinds of miseries inflict pains upon me? Kiyami kano more jape tapotroy. Tapotroy. Tapa means painful condition. Tap. Just like if you touch fire, it creates a painful condition by burning the part. Similarly, this world is also a blazing fire, samsara davanala. The rascals, they do not know. They are always out of the three kinds of miserable condition. Everyone is in somewhere other under these conditions. These conditions means it is these klesha, painful conditions. They are created by three causes. What are those causes? Daiva bhutatma hetava. Daiva means created by the demigods. Daiva, devata. Just like this rain department, water department, is under the control of Indra. So, Indra can supply water just to your requirement, or sometimes he does not supply, or sometimes he supplies over requirement, otivrishti, anavrishti. Anavrishti means no rain, and otivrishti means excessive. So we don't want excessive or less. We want just proper. So this is under the control of the devata. You cannot say, you may be very great scientist, you cannot say that it is under my control. When there is no rainfall, you cannot say, all right, we are scientists, we are creating rain. You can theoretically say, now we are making progress in future. All these rascals say in future. And we also believe that in future these rascals will give us all happiness. Not now. Now you die. Just like a clever lawyer, his client was condemned to death, to be hanged. I have seen it in Allahabad High Court. And still he is patting him, don't worry, I shall get you released by appeal. Now you can go to be hanged and I shall get you released. Like that. I have seen it. One big European barrister, in those days European barristers were very valuable, Mr. Alston. I had also one case in the High Court. So one man, one medical practitioner, he killed his servant in the operation very mercilessly. The servant was implicated with his wife to revenge he called the servant in the operation room. The servant did not know that he was to be killed, and immediately he was captured, chloroformed, and mercilessly killed with knife. And then packed up in a box, he was taking the corpse in a different place to throw away. In the meantime, a police officer was passing. He saw the drops of blood is coming out of the box. He immediately arrested. Then the doctor was condemned to death. So Mr. Alston was appointed his lawyer. So he was solacing, "Don't worry, I shall get you released by appeal." So our so-called scientists, they also say like that, in future we shall do this. In future. Now you go to hell. That's all. But in future they cannot do anything. Daividhyesha gunamai mama maya durata. Nature's law is so strong. These so-called childish scientists, they cannot give you any relief. That is not possible. That is not possible. It is simply false promise. And those who are fools and rascals, they believe that in future, what they have done in the past, they cannot do anything. Therefore, it is said there are three kinds of miserable conditions. Daiva, Bhuta, Atma. Daiva means Adhidaivik, and Bhuta means Adhibhautik, and Atma means Adhyatmik. Three kinds of miseries. Adhyatmik, pertaining to your body and mind. Body, we have got experience, so many bodily troubles, anxieties. If not body, mental, these are called adhyatmik. Then, adhibhauti. I am peaceful, but another neighbor or another animal will give me some trouble. I am peacefully sitting here, but these flies are giving me trouble, unnecessarily. I have to take precaution. So there are flies, mosquitoes, at night so many other animals they come. Besides that, my brother, my friend, they are also prepared to give me trouble. Somewhere or other living entities causing some painful condition. This is called adhibhautik. And adhidaivik. Daivik, painful condition created by the demigods. Just like there is hurricane all of a sudden. So many trees falls down, sometimes cottages devastated, overflood, excessive rain, overflood, famine, pestilence. You have no control. You cannot control. You can simply say in future, that's all. But there is no control. So we are always in this painful condition, that is material life. But those who have got eyes, sense, they can see. Just like Sanatana Goswami, he could see. He was Prime Minister, well situated materially, learned scholar, very intelligent. Otherwise, how they could become Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personal associates, very qualified. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Sanatana Goswami consulted Jagadananda that I want to do this, what is your advice? Sanatana Goswami became infected with itches all over the body. And it was what is called bleeding itches. Itches are two kinds, dry and sometimes oozing water. What is called?
Pus.
Not pus. Weeping, yes. The technical name is weeping, dry and weeping. So it was weeping, itches. And whenever he would go to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, immediately Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced him and the weeping secretion will touch the body of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he thought that I am suffering from this disease, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embracing me, I shall kill myself, I shall commit suicide. So he consulted, not for suicide, but leaving the place. So when he was advised, yes, you can leave the place. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he heard this news that Jagadananda has advised Sanatana Goswami to leave the place. He became very angry. That you have the audacity to advise Sanatana Goswami, nonsense. He was so respectful to Sanatana Goswami. The same Sanatana Goswami approached to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, asking him the question, what I am, why I am put into this threefold miserable condition of life. So this is our position. We may be very great man in the estimation of our friends and countrymen, but everyone is subjected to the miserable condition of life. They cannot make any solution. That is not possible. They have made a solution, big learned scholars, just that Mr. Kotovsky said, Swamiji, after death there is no life. Everything is finished. Unless they think like that, their life becomes more horrible, full of anxieties. If they think of that there is another life, there is punishment and reward according to our karma, then their life is very horrible. So, just like the animals, poor animals, sometimes facing enemy, close the eyes as if there is no enemy. So they do like that. Close the eyes. Children, when there is danger, they close the eyes. They have no other means to escape. So these people, they close the eyes. There is no life after death. Otherwise, they cannot accommodate. But there is life after death. Tatha dehantaram prapti. Tatha dehantaram prapti. There is life after death, simply change of body. Now there are so many bodies, 8,400,000 of bodies. I can become next life a fly, according to my karma. Or I can become next life Brahma, that is also according to karma. But there are varieties of life. So the so-called scientists, they do not know what is life after death, how it happens, how it is going on. This is a great science. That you can understand from the Vedic literature, not from your so-called scientific research. That is not possible. So, how these people during the time of Maharaj Yudhishthira were free from all kinds of anxieties and diseases. Nadhayo, badhayo, klesha. If you are in anxiety, then that will create a disease. Our psychological condition, physiological condition is working in so certain way. Little shocking, little disturbance we get. Nadhayo, badhayo, klesha. If you are in anxiety, then that will create a disease. Our psychological condition, physiological condition is working in so certain way. Little shocking, little disturbance we get, another disturbance. The Ayurvedic medicine, they treat patient on this principle. How things are disturbed, they have got their calculation. Kapha, Pitta, Vayu, Tridhatu. This body is a composition of these three dhatu. Jasyatma buddhi kunope tridhatuke kunope. This is a bag created by the interaction of the three elements, namely Kapha, Pitta, Vayu. Bile, mucus and air. This is Kaviraj treatment. They can understand the position of these three elements by feeling the pulse. This is Ayurvedic science. If one Kaviraj can learn to feel the pulse, he can say everything. He can say when this man will die, today or tomorrow, or accurately will say. The pulse beating is so scientifically described in Ayurvedic science.